It's Ramsey Dewey over here in Shanghai, China. Welcome to whatever the heck this is, the Ramsey Dewey Show. Today we're going to talk about Detroit Threat Management Center, aka Dale Brown, aka Detroit Urban Survival Training. He sent me a couple of messages, really long messages. Like messages that defy the character limit of the YouTube comments section. That's how long they were. And this most recent comment was on my video, Chujitsu and Ramsey Dewey Test Out Detroit Urban Survival Training, where I did a video collab with Chujitsu, Nick Albin, aka Chewy. It's a great channel on Jiu-Jitsu. If you're not familiar, go check it out. Go subscribe to Chewy right now. You'll be glad you did. So, we did a collaboration where we tested out some of Dale's more questionable self-defense techniques, hand-to-hand techniques. Not his weapon techniques or anything like that, but stuff that we felt we had a pretty good handle on, such as takedowns, grappling techniques, etc. After all, Chewy is a fairly high-level black belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. I'm a very experienced coach in the sport of mixed martial arts, and so with our powers combined, we tested out some crappy self-defense techniques and came up with a pretty funny video, to be honest. Dale was not happy. He saw the video, and the one on Chewy's channel got taken down. Don't know why. And the one on my channel got this very long and angry and stern comment. I will read it to you. So Dale starts out saying, I will demonstrate for you in person, that every technique taught at D.U.S.T works better with more resistance. You can try to resist any techniques and you will fail to defeat them, just like the violent individuals and gangs that tried and failed to kill our 3,500 team members over the past 27 years. You are confused. Well, I'm confused now because Dale's telling me that these techniques that we tested out against mild resistance shut these down. He's first telling us that more resistance will make these techniques work even better. Seriously, if a technique gets shut down when somebody simply does not cooperate, the solution is more resistance. Oh, okay. How is the weather over there in the neighborhood of make-believe this time of year? I would like to know. I hear it's a nice place to visit, but not a great place to live. But Dale goes on, you are confused. We use our training in real life to protect thousands of families in many communities. You are not willing to use your training in real life to protect any people in any community. I'm going to take this apart paragraph by paragraph. Now, there is some truth to what Dale is saying. He uses his personal protective company to protect people and communities in Detroit. This is true. I've looked into it. He hires a whole bunch of people who are essentially security guards who go out there and patrol the streets and serve as a visual deterrent to keep potential criminals and burglars away from homes and businesses. And this is a legitimate thing that Dale does. And bravo, Dale, that's great. More power to you. That's awesome. That being said, what we were picking apart in these videos was some crappy takedown attempts, some crappy leg lock attempts, and some very questionable low percentage head kick blocks. This is not even in the same neighborhood as the idea that somebody, an armed guard in an SUV patrolling a neighborhood, can serve as a visual deterrent to keep thugs away. Apples and oranges, my friend. More like apples and potatoes. More like apples and robots. Man, it's night and day. They are very different things. Am I the one who is confused? I'm not sure about that, but let's continue. Dale says, I am not willing to use my training in real life to protect any people in any community. Well, I hate to say this because it always sounds dumb to me when people are like, I trained the police and I trained anti-terrorist units and I trained the military, because it's kind of like name dropping, kind of to make yourself sound cooler or more legitimate than you are. But I have used my training to train local police here in Shanghai and in Jiangsu province. I have used my training to help people who put their lives on the line day in and day out to do their jobs more effectively with less risk to themselves and others. That is a real thing that I have done. I don't say that to brag. Essentially what it came down to was very remedial grappling classes to help people understand you don't have to resort to pulling out a baton and beating somebody to death because you don't know what else to do. There are some simple ways to subdue somebody without critically injuring them. And there are simple ways to protect yourself from somebody spazzing out on you without seriously injuring them or getting yourself hurt. So, I understand Dale's intention to increase survivability of people in his community and the people in his employ as security guards. But we continue. Dale says, you can come to Detroit to learn, or you can wait until I come to China. Right now, nobody can leave China because we're locked down here in Shanghai. I can't leave, you can't get in. Let's just assume that sometime in the future that changes. Let's hope. Let's hope. Because this lockdown sucks. It absolutely does. So now's not a good time to come to China. Now is not a time where I could go to Detroit. But if I'm in the neighborhood, I'll definitely stop by and we'll have a chat and we will compare notes, Dale. I will take you up on that. So Dale says, you can wait until I come to China to teach you the difference between a real-world survival system and a sport fighter. Oh man, Do you remember those last few videos where I said, if I read a comment starting with, you don't know the difference between a street fight and a sport fight, and I just gag me with a spoon. I hate those stupid things. It's like, how old do you think I am? What kind of life experiences do you think I have? I've lived half my life in third world countries. Are you kidding me? I don't know the difference between real world violence and what goes on in a cage fight? In spite of the fact that I've experienced both far more than you and most humans out there in first world countries? Yeah, man. Anyway, I'm going to try to remove the emotion from this, but I might go off once in a while because there are some emotionally charged things in this letter that Dale sent out. It's in the comment section, but I'll call it a letter, a strongly worded letter, about half of it in all caps. Dale says, stop taking your shoes off. LOL. Which is funny because in this video I actually had shoes on. I was wearing my Sambo shoes the whole time in this video, so I don't know why he's telling me to stop taking my shoes off. I did get a number of comments from people who'd never seen Sambo shoes on a mat, like, why are you wearing shoes on the mat? That's kind of weird. I've never seen that in a martial arts gym. But yeah, I was wearing Sambo shoes because that's one of the arts that I practice. Sambo, it's awesome. Go check it out. Dale goes on to say, in real life, when you are attacked by violent criminals, it is very rare that you will not have shoes on. I wear flip-flops a lot, so it is distinctly possible that I may be attacked without shoes on. During a home invasion, which, as far as I'm aware, is something that the people who work for Dale specifically work to prevent, a lot of people... In fact, I would say most people in America don't go to bed at night with their shoes on. I know some people do. Maybe they have myofascial plantar fasciitis, or however you say that. And sometimes if you go to bed with shoes on with special inserts, that can help your feet. But most people aren't in that boat. And so if a bad guy breaks into your house in the middle of the night, you're probably not going to have shoes on. But anyway, so is it good to train with shoes on? Yeah. Is it good to train with shoes off? Yeah. Is it good to train for whatever circumstance you might be in? Yeah, good idea. But Dale is making fun of something that didn't even happen in the video. I was actually wearing shoes. So did you watch the video? You're commenting on Dale. I'm now doubtful of everything you say from this point forward, but we continue. In real life, when you are attacked by violent criminals, it is very rare that you will not have shoes on. You will have to fight multiple aggressors in most attacks that are life and death. You will have to fight multiple attackers? Let me tell you a couple of stories. I've been violently assaulted on the streets a number of times, and I actually didn't have to fight anybody. Why was I accosted by multiple armed assailants on the streets multiple times? Because they wanted money. What did I do? I gave them what I had, and they went away. Now I realize not everybody has that experience. Some people will never be attacked and held at gunpoint. Some people experience this quite a lot. I lived in Argentina at the time. I was living in the city of Granburg. It's, man, back in the 90s. There are a lot of slums in Argentina in the outskirts of Buenos Aires. I love Argentina, man. I even love the slums of Argentina. It's not pretty. The villas de miseria are not pretty places. But you can get robbed there multiple times a day if you walk around outside for any meaningful amount of time. In the villas de miseria, the villages of misery, these third world slums in South America. So when I tell these stories about how I got mugged at gunpoint 6 times within a 2-year time frame, people get all confused. People who have never stepped foot in a third world country or a third world slum or a neighborhood like that, and they're like, what? That's impossible. I live in a violent city in New York or Chicago or Detroit or something like that where there's lots of gun violence and I haven't been mugged ever. Well, you live in a first world country, man. If you only get mugged 6 times in a place like Granburg or José Sepas or Kilómetro 27 or someplace like that on the outskirts of Argentina in the villas, you're lucky. If you only get mugged 6 times in 2 years, man, I got lucky. I've seen people executed in front of me. I have been attacked, I have been assaulted, I've been held at gunpoint, I've been robbed, I've been mugged, I've had friends shot. I've seen some things, man. And I don't say this to try to win the furious race to the bottom. It's just when people tell me, you don't understand the difference between the streets and a sport. That tells me you don't belong in a conversation with me about this topic. Dale goes on to say, you will have to know how to manage attacks from guns and knives, bottles, bats, etc. Yeah, give them what they want. And 90% of the time, that is going to solve the problem. 90% of the time, that will get you out of there unscathed. And the other 10% of the time, when you can't, the solutions: fight or run or beg. Or pray. What else do we have? The fact that you cannot defeat your sparring partner indicates the obvious that you are incompetent. LOL, sparring partner. Dale thought that we were sparring in that video. Okay. See, when I use the word sparring, I'm referring to actual sparring, as opposed to, testing out a bad self-defense technique. But, yeah, the fact that your crappy techniques didn't work meant they're crappy techniques. Okay. Chewy's a high-level grappler, and you showed a crappy, bad, straight ankle lock. You executed it incorrectly. A low-level jiu-jitsu guy would understand this. Dale, I'm going to tell you, you live in Detroit. I know there are jiu-jitsu schools out there, not far from where you live, not far from where your center of operations is. You can visit them. This would be a good thing. I know you're interested in martial arts. I know you did a lot of gym hopping back in the day to try to get the best techniques you could get to teach to your security guard folks, to give them the best chance of increasing their survivability. Why don't you go to a jiu-jitsu class and actually learn to sharpen up these techniques that you're teaching so you can do it better? Now, later on in this very, very long letter, he mentions that none of the people under his employ have been killed. Now, none of us made the accusation. Chewie and I did not say Dale's going to get people killed. We just showed what happens when you use the techniques as they were taught against mild resistance. So, we continue. If you were capable and competent, we would see that in your performance in real life. You can look at actual footage of a rescue of abduction victims and protection of crimes victims. You can see video testimonials of their public and police that validate our success and our tactics over the 27 years in real life. Okay? I guess he's saying that there are interviews with people that the Dale security guards have helped out, and they probably said some nice things about his company, and that's fine. But I seriously doubt that any of these people are saying, that crappy straight ankle lock that Dale taught incorrectly on the internet saved my life, because one of his security guards came out and did this incorrectly applied straight ankle lock, and it saved my life. That didn't happen, Dale. That didn't happen. We continue. You, sir, cannot even spar due to injuries sustained in a gym? ? Now, hold on here. I cannot even spar due to injuries sustained in a gym. I don't know what he means by that, because I spar in the gym all the time, in spite of injuries. I've had a lot of injuries over the years, and I keep sparring. My very last professional fight, maybe he's talking about my last professional fight. Maybe he's misinterpreting something that he heard about my last professional fight, where I had my skull broken in 2 places, had this radical depressed skull fracture, and I was partially blinded in one eye, and so I retired from professional fighting, and he's confusing that with sparring, because Dale, like a lot of people out there, does not understand the difference between fighting, sparring, and mild resistance. Doesn't understand the difference between make-believe on the internet and real-life success. I don't know, man, but it kind of sounds like he's taking a dig at me. You, sir, cannot even spar due to injury sustained in a gym? ? False. I spar all the time. Imagine using your bullshit language, Dale. Language. I'm disappointed. I know some people consider that a nothing, mild curse word, but dude, keep the foul language out of the comment section on my channel, please. Anyway, imagine using your BS training in the real world, where our training has been proven to save lives. Imagine using my training in the real world, where our training has been proven to save lives. Okay, well, I know how to fight, I know how to grapple, I know how to strike, I know how to combine the two. I'm pretty proficient with a number of weapons. I'm definitely not an easy target where it comes to fighting. So I can imagine a lot of things. I can imagine all kinds of scenarios. I can imagine me being Liam Neeson in the plot of Taken. Oh, I've got a certain set of skills, and with those skills, we can visit the neighborhood of make-believe all we want, but imagining does nothing, man. I know what I've actually done in the face of actual adversity. I know how I behave in those situations. I know how to keep composure when somebody holds a gun to my head, because I've been there and I've done that. And I'll tell you from personal experience that all of that nonsense is not going to increase your survivability. Not that that's what the video is about. It wasn't. This was not a video about critiquing Dale's gun disarms. Just the hand-to-hand, mostly the grappling stuff. Again, go watch it. See if you feel like Dale is making a fair comment in good faith here. What you are doing is disgusting for 3 primary reasons. Number 1, I like that he outlined 3 primary reasons. You are attempting to trick people into believing training that has saved lives does not work. Why would you do that? Okay, look, Dale, if your company has saved lives once again, it's because you're hiring armed security guards as a visual deterrent to keep potential bad guys and predators away from businesses and homes. That is what you do. You're not a superhero. You're not Batman. You're not out there engaged in hand-to-hand combat with thugs on the street. I know what your company does, and that's fine. What you're doing is spinning this story around with this idea that you got a bunch of mini Batmans under your employ and they're out getting into fistfights every day with the street toughs, and that's not happening. Now, I'm not saying that none of your employees have engaged in hand-to-hand combat with anybody else ever. That's probably happened over the course of 27 years, I'm sure, but your guys are not catching anybody with that ankle lock. It's not happening. That is absolutely delusional. Your guys are not being grabbed from behind on the shoulders like a creepy back massage and then putting their arms up like a ballerina and spinning around to thwart the attempts of the wicked. This is not happening. This is imaginary. Okay, there are some real things you do, Dale, and I respect what you do. And then there's this character you play on the internet, which has garnered a bunch of attention, and it's probably got a lot of clicks on your website and probably brought you a lot of business and a lot of money and fame and success, and great, more power to you. But I hope you understand how to distinguish between the two. Nobody is immune to becoming a charismatic cult leader. When you are given the semblance of power and authority and fame, it makes you weird. Man, the other day was my daughter's 7th birthday, my younger daughter's 7th birthday. And she's such a sweet little girl. And it started out, and again, we're locked down here in Shanghai. We have not been able to leave our homes. We can't go shopping. And this has been going on for 2 months. And my wife tried to prepare my daughter for this, like, you're not going to get the presents that you wanted for your birthday. We have no way to go out and buy these things. And so I want you to set your expectations pretty low. And my wife managed to, she knew a guy who managed to get this little toy for my daughter for her birthday. And so the morning of her birthday comes, and we give her the present, and her eyes light up. She's just overjoyed the fact that her mother cared enough to get her this thoughtful gift, albeit not an extravagant one. And she's like, "Oh, thank you so much, Mommy. I love you so much." It was such a beautiful little moment and a beautiful little smile. But and the whole day, my wife made these very thoughtful plans to make this day a very beautiful and memorable and joyous day for our daughter. And the more she indulged my daughter, though, I noticed the less sweet she got and the more needy she got. She was like, "Okay, what's next? What's next? Give me more. What's next? Give me more. What's next? Give me more." And by the end of the day, man, she'd just gone mad with power. Like, "It's my birthday and I get to do whatever I want." And I was like, "Okay, it's bedtime for you, man. You are drunk with power at this point." If it can happen to the sweetest 7-year-old little girl in the world, it can definitely happen to a middle-aged man who runs a multi-million-dollar company and has a lot of fame and success on the internet, and a lot of people patting you on the back and saying, "Good job, Dale," right? Now, Dale, I recognize there's good you do in the world, and I hope you do too, but I just want you to understand what that is and what that isn't. On to Dale's point number 2 about what I'm doing and why it is disgusting. Number 2, you are purposefully trying not to perform the techniques properly, false, in order to deceive people, also false. Further, why would you do that? Why do you think that, Dale? Why do you think that? Why do you think I am purposefully trying to not perform the techniques correctly? I was purposefully trying to do them exactly as you did them. Let's take, for example, the Tekken takedown. Now, there are a lot of martial arts systems that use similar takedowns. Judo, Sambo, you'll see it in Capoeira also. And there are some perfectly legitimate ways to set up a takedown that looks very similar to what Dale taught, but importantly different, because when you get the details right, it works. The details matter a great deal in hand-to-hand combat techniques. If you skip the nuances, it doesn't work. If you skip the foundation, the building crumbles. And so you can do something that looks kind of like judo, but if you skip the details and you don't do it right, it doesn't work when push comes to shove. If you have a compliant training partner that respects you enough to fall down when you push him a little bit, so it looks good in the demo or looks good in the video, this can definitely start going to your head. This is one of the big problems with Aikido in the modern world. Check out our friend Rokas from Martial Arts Journey. He's made tons of videos on this topic. He was an Aikido instructor for a very long time. What, like 15 years? Really long time. And he closed his Aikido school and went on a pursuit of the truth to try to figure out, how do you fight for real? Because what I was doing wasn't it. I got to the point where I could, just do the motions and people would just kind of humor me and fall down and do their little flippy things. And that's not how a real fight works. So that's why people love Rokas. They love him because he's pursuing the truth. I invite you to do the same, Dale. Now, I've seen a bunch of your videos, not a bunch, I've seen a few of them, where you invite people to your center in Detroit and you set up a certain narrative. Richard Dawkins does this too when he has debates with religious people. It's quite interesting. Richard Dawkins is a very intelligent man, but he puts himself in situations where he cannot lose. He frames the debate in a way where he cannot lose the debate, and the other person doesn't even realize what kind of fight they're in. They don't even realize what the rules of engagement are. Dale does the same thing when he sets up these demos, like, and man, I see this a lot. Adam Minzer, the Tai Chi guy, does this all the time too. When he does his demos, like he'll put himself in a position with good bone alignment and challenge somebody to move his arm or something like that, and they'll be like, I can't move your arm. It's like magic. It's chi power. And it's like, okay, you put yourself in good bone alignment and then challenged somebody to do something that is physically impossible, to use soft tissue against hard bones in a structure where you can't bend the bones. It's not chi, it's just basic physics, man, but it's set up as if it were something more magical. Anyway, there's probably a term for what I'm saying, some sort of logical fallacy. I don't know the name of it. All you English and philosophy majors, let me know what this is called. But Dale does this. A lot of people do it. And anyway, point number 3, why what I am doing is disgusting. Number 3, if you truly wanted the rest to rest the I think he means test. If you truly wanted to test the techniques, why not do what thousands of others have done and come to Detroit respectfully and participate in a free demo class? Well, several reasons. As I've already mentioned, we're locked down here in China, and so I'm not going anywhere, and you're not coming here. That's simply not going to happen, as much as we fantasize about it. But 2, as I previously mentioned, if I go into your gym in Detroit, you will not allow me to do what I want to do. You will set up a scenario like a seminar where you present a no-lose scenario. I'll give you an example. Now, our video, once again, was not about your gun disarms. But look at the gun disarms that Dale Brown has done. And he will invite somebody, one of his doubters, his non-believers, as he puts it. That's cult language, dude. Calling people non-believers, that's what a cult leader does. And this is an intervention, Dale. I do not want you to go down that dark path, because I've seen it a lot, especially in the martial arts self-defense community. Self-defense gurus become cult leaders. And their following turns into a cult, and it gets bad. It goes south very, very easily. So don't let that be you, man. Please, don't let that be you. But it starts like this. You set up a scenario where the other guy is already set to fail. Hold the gun up to my head in this specific position. And after the signal, fire the weapon. And so you have this person trying to play catch-up with you. Dale acts first, and then they react. And so Dale has this higher percentage to pull off his gun disarm. Now, look, I've mentioned before, I've been robbed at gunpoint 6 times in my life. And I've seen people shot to death in the streets. And not once did anybody do this. Not once did anybody get that close to me with a ranged weapon. Maybe that's happened to some of you. Maybe somebody came up to you with no intention of actually shooting you and just wanted to intimidate you and held a gun to your head. That hasn't happened to me. There was always at least 10 feet of space between us, where they held that gun out and said, "Give me your money or I will shoot you." But if you want to grapple, Dale, if you want to demonstrate pragmatically, if your ankle lock can work, and you want no more than mild resistance, because you obviously you wouldn't grapple, you wouldn't spar, then yeah, why not? I'll just lie there, let you have a hold of my ankle, and see if you can actually control me with that crappy ankle lock. Spoiler alert, you won't, you can't, because you're doing it wrong. A straight ankle lock, the objective isn't even to control somebody, it is to break the leg. Did you know that? A lot of people don't know that. They think it's a pain compliance move, because a straight ankle lock, the Achilles lock specifically, hurts. Now there are 2 major variations of the straight ankle lock. There's the Achilles lock, which most people think is a pain compliance move, and it can be, but if you follow it through to its logical conclusion, you will snap the shin bones in half. And then there is the variation where you actually twist the ankle joint and essentially give the guy a sprained ankle. So it's very strange trying to use a technique like that to pin somebody. Leg locks are to tear up the legs, dude. That's what they're for. Anyway, so Dale thinks I am disgusting because of that. "Because you know the truth," says Dale, "and you are attempting to deceive your audience. What makes your behavior despicable is the reality that you know what you are doing is deceptive and can cause people to lose their lives because they listen to you." All right. Now Dale is accusing me of that thing that a lot of people accuse him of. I didn't accuse Dale of this, but he's accusing me of this. He's saying I am getting people killed by making these MMA fighters try out crappy self-defense technique videos, where we take a bad self-defense technique and try it out against mild resistance. For example, maybe there's a technique, grab my wrist, and they teach, do this twisty thing, and bah, I'm out, okay? Well, it stands to reason that we should test this out at least against mild resistance. So now I will hold on to the hand, maybe not too hard, but I will not willingly let go unless I'm forced to let go. Now try your technique. It doesn't work when you're not cooperating. Oh, no kidding. Well, maybe it's not a great technique. Well, not according to Dale. It's just because I didn't resist enough. Now, squeeze harder. We continue. Instead of playing with your little buddy, come to Detroit. My little buddy. Oh, he's talking about Shao. I looked up Dale's height. Shao, my little buddy, is actually taller than Dale. So if Shao is my little buddy, then Dale himself is more little. Huh. Okay. All right, little Dale, little buddy, old pal, we'll continue reading. Bring your cameras and we can test each technique you doubt. We can do it respectfully, and you can learn without injury, or you can move at whatever speed and force you would like and experience that tactics the way many violent criminals over the past 27 years... Okay, we were missing some words. I guess he typed this out very quickly because it is very long. So again, I'm not making fun of that. I think what he's saying, though, is we can either do it with mild resistance and have a fun time, or you can try to spar me and I'll beat the crap out of you, is what he's saying. So Dale's getting serious here. I would make fun of you and your videos, but I am busy protecting people, training people in real life to manage real threats. The length of this comment, we're going on 35 minutes so far, and we barely scratched the surface. The length of this comment tells me otherwise, that you're not really that busy. But, okay, whatever. The invitation stands for you to come to Detroit, Michigan and experience the training, or you can wait until I come to China. Either way, I will have a video with you, and you will explain to your audience the error of your ways. Sweet. Either way, okay, Dale, we'll have this video where I'll be like, oh, Dale, I was so wrong. Your crappy anchor lock really does work. Forgive me. Forgive me. That'll be the day. What you do not realize is that thousands of families depend on our skills 24/7 for the past 27 years. Many people, both civilians and police, are alive because of our training, and they are hurt by your accusations. Nobody is alive today because of your crappy straight ankle lock thing, or your ballerina spin, or your absolute failure to comprehend how to block a head kick. Nobody is alive because of that. Nobody is alive because of your gross misunderstanding of how basic judo works. Nobody is alive because of your crappling. That's crap plus grappling. The specific techniques we picked on in that video were not good. You know it. I know it. Anybody who has spent a modicum of time training for real knows that. Going out on the streets does not magically make these things better. It magically makes them worse. Because failure, in that case, is in fact a matter of life and death. And you, sir, are minimizing that reality by justifying bad behavior. Stop it. Stop it. But we continue. When you make these videos, you are hurting thousands of families and causing doubt in abused victims and those seeking help. You are making them feel helpless. Or maybe I'm suggesting that instead of watching crappling, crappy crap videos on the internet about how to do techniques wrong, they actually get out there and train and test it for real and learn how to fight. Do the science, man. Follow the scientific method. What is that? It's called get out there and train and test it for real. Don't just believe some rando on the internet. Test it out for yourself. Learn for yourself. That is what I teach people to do. And if that makes you feel unsafe, you already were unsafe. But we continue. So apparently I'm abusing thousands of families and causing doubt in abused victims, and I'm the worst person ever. They know they will never box or wrestle their way to safety from a violent killer out of their weight class using sport fighting tactics, and we all know nobody's going to do any of those things using your tactics either, because they suck. These techniques you have taught on the internet that we critiqued in our video were not good by any metric. I mean, watch it. Look at it. Look at it. Open your eyes. I'm never going to get done with this unless I just read it all the way through because it's so long. I'll try to hold back a little bit more and just read what Dale wrote and let you judge for yourself. When you make videos attempting to discredit tactics that actually have worked, you are making the families feel vulnerable and that there is no hope. This is why I have no choice but to correct you and those like you. It is because of the people that will continue to suffer if they do not realize that intelligent options can increase their survivability, and they do not have to allow themselves to be raped, robbed, and murdered. In the past 27 years, violent individuals and gangs tried to kill us and the families we protect. We protect poor people and working-class people for free, and we give them free training, so they are empowered to protect themselves. In our past 27 years, none of our 3,500 team members have been killed. 6 of our team members have been shot. Why am I not surprised by that? I didn't ask for that information, but Dale volunteered it. 6 of our team members have been shot. Okay, I absolutely believe that. We survived because of our survival training system. We stabilized our wounded and transported them to Level 1 trauma hospitals in most cases as a necessity to survive, okay? You took people with gunshot wounds to the hospital, okay? Good on you. Cool. For not letting your employees die. Most importantly, none of the thousands of families have been shot, robbed, raped, or killed after receiving our protective services. None of the hundreds of local, state, or federal law enforcement officers have trained in our tactics or employed off-duty in protective services with our companies have been killed in the past 27 years. We have had no successful lawsuits against us and no prosecutions of our team members for all levels of force-on-force conflicts. Contact at your convenience, www.detroit-dust.com, and check out his YouTube channel at Detroit Threat Management Center. So, Dale's arguing a lot of things that we never brought up in that video. It seems like his big, strong point of contention is that our techniques don't get people killed. No one under my employ has been killed, although 6 of them have been shot. Yeah, that's not what this video is about. We never made those accusations. Is Dale good at heading a personal protective service, bodyguard, security company? I don't know. I've listened to an interview from one of his former employees, and he seemed to know what he was doing in the realm of personal protective services as far as patrolling neighborhoods and being a visual deterrent, etc., as I've aforementioned in this video several times. And once again, and hopefully for the last time, that is not the same thing as doing that crappy ankle lock and your bad judo throws. Those are not the techniques that have saved anybody's lives. Well, that was Dale's second super long comment. You can go read it. It's pinned at the top of my video collab with Chewy. Once again, go check out Chew-Jitsu on the internet for some of the best jiu-jitsu content and one of the best jiu-jitsu Q&As on YouTube. I'm Ramsey Dewey. Thank you for watching. Now get out there and train.